Hello, assalamu alaikum. If we could have the men come onto this side, inshallah, and the sisters can come to the main hall onto my right on this side. And if the brothers could please come to, can migrate, inshallah ta'ala, to the left, to my left. Jazakallah khair. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So, just make sure in the right room. Alhamdulillah, it's very happy to be back at the Rancho Masjid. A lot of cherished memories coming here. Tonight we wanted to talk about preparing for Ramadan. And I divided it into 20 ways to prepare for Ramadan. Okay. Begin with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah, the second surah, 183rd ayah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyam كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O you have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, or prescribed upon you is fasting, as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous, may become God conscious, God mindful. Allah also mentions that the month of Ramadan is when the Quran was revealed. So in the month of Ramadan, the Quran is revealed. So this is the time for us to get back into the mode of the Quran. Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah alayh, the great scholar, said that Friday, Jummah, is the balance of the week. Ramadan is the balance of the year, and Hajj is the balance of life. Friday is the balance of the week, Ramadan is the balance of the year, and Hajj is the balance of life. So in this month, it's good to not just be a Ramadan Muslim, right? But to be a full-time Muslim. Because if you're a Ramadan Muslim, it's only how much of the year, right? 1/12 or so of the year. But that should be the launch pad to get you ready for the rest of the year, inshallah. All right, number one, the first way, refocus. We have in the Hadith Qudsi that this is the only act of worship that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala personally rewards the believers, right? This should change your mind about how we feel about fasting. It's the only act of worship Allah personally rewards. Upon the authority of Abu Hurairah, Prophet said, indeed your Lord said, every good deed is rewarded with 10, of the same up to 700 times over. Fasting is for me, and I shall reward it. Coming from Allah. Fasting is a shield from the fire. The smell from the mouth of the one who is fasting is more pleasant to Allah than the scent of musk. If one of you is abused by an ignorant person while fasting, let them say, indeed I am fasting. Because in the month of Ramadan, people are going to come to us and they're going to agitate us. They're going to make us want to fight them, say bad things, WhatsApp groups, the worst. right? What's going on? Don't respond. Pause. This literally happened last year. People were fighting about something in one of the WhatsApp groups I was in, and then they're like, I'm going to hold back because it's Ramadan, right? Alhamdulillah, it never got brought up again, right? So it actually worked, right? So, number one. Number two, the sins are forgiven. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. That the month of, the night of power is greater than 73 years of worship, or 1,000 months of worship. Think about an average lifespan in America. About 70 years, 80 years, Allahu Alam. But that is how powerful the night of power is, right? The Prophet ﷺ had mentioned, and this is a Sahih Hadith in Nasa'i, Prophet ﷺ said, whoever stands in the Ramadan, in the night prayer, in the hope of Allah's reward, their previous sins will be forgiven, and whoever spends the night in Laylatul Qadr in prayer out of faith in the hope of Allah's reward, their previous sins will be forgiven, right? Think about if I told you right now that at Sephora, they're going to give you $1,000 worth of free items. Or at Best Buy, whoever comes at 6 in the morning, they'll get $1,000 worth of free items. How many of us would run to go there, get a free gift card? The best gift is coming to masjid, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even in your home, but coming masjid is as its own blessing. I always told my students that whenever you come to the masjid, you never know what secondary blessing Allah will give to you. You may find a job, you may find a spouse, you may find a friend. You don't know what Allah has in store for you when you come to the gatherings of Muslims. According to Pew, it's about 2 or 3% Muslims in the entire US. And they're spread out in different places. But when Ramadan, how many people come out in Ramadan? How many Muslims you haven't seen since last Ramadan? Or 2 Ramadans ago they come. So, oh, you still live in California? Right? You know, and you're so happy to see them. And you catch up. But it doesn't happen any other time of the year. And it happens throughout the world. You walk in Istanbul, it's happening there. You go to Oman, it's happening there. Everywhere the nights are alive. And it's a good time to open our doors as well. To feed people. When you feed somebody, you get the reward of their fast. And imagine feeding someone who's not Muslim, and then one day they come to Islam because of your feeding them in Ramadan. That could have been the spark. And then they marry a Muslim. Then they have Muslim kids. And then all these kids come on Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the Day of Judgment, and say, we became Muslim because of your, pakora or your cheeseburger you gave for iftar, SubhanAllah. So always try to be generous as much as we can, especially in the month of Ramadan. Number 4, fasting or no fasting, you still win, right? Some people, they can't fast because of, some temporarily don't fast, right? Maybe they're going through their cycle, maybe they are pregnant and they don't want to, or they're nursing, or some people are sick, they had a surgery and they can't fast for a certain number of days. And some people can't fast at all. Like they cannot biologically fast. But even if they can't fast temporarily or long term, you can always enjoy Ramadan. Allah has given Ramadan to all the believers, regardless and inclusive of every kind of ability. You can always pray to Allah, making dua. You can always do salah. Well, unless you can't that time period. But other than that, you can do salah. You can do it sitting down, you can do it laying down, whatever it may be. Reading Quran, listening to Islamic lectures, listening to the Quran, listening to nasheed, like Islamic songs, watching lectures, watching Quran, right? And it's a good time to do substitutions. If you like to listen to music in your car, put on the Quran instead in your car when you're driving to work and back. If you like to binge TV shows, instead of watching TV shows, watch Islamic content. And there are actually subscriptions now that have 100% Islamic content for adults and for children as well. So look into that, inshallah. It's also a great time to give zakah. Anybody can give zakah if you have the nasab, meaning you're wealthy enough to give the zakah. If not, then you're receiving a zakah. Or you can give in charity, right? So Ramadan is a month for every believer to participate in, regardless and inclusive of their abilities that Allah has given them. The 5th way, good deeds. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever draws near to Allah during Ramadan with a single characteristic from the characteristics of goodness. They are like one who performs an obligatory act in other times. And whoever performs an obligatory act is given 70 obligatory acts in other times. This is Sahih ibn Qudayma. So this is the time to do as many good deeds as possible. When you can think of any good deed, try to do it in Ramadan. And inshallah, the hope is that this will become muscle memory for you, for all of us, and we'll start doing it more and more from that point on. The sixth way, I'll ask you, this is a question to ask you. Are Ramadan fundraisers boring? Are they boring? Are they tedious? How do you feel when you go to a fundraiser? Are you happy? Are you excited? Or are you like, oh my God, I need to go walk outside and I need to make a phone call, I need to go watch this show, right? We have to understand something. In Muslim majority countries, generally speaking, there is a ministry of religious affairs within that country. And that country, it funds the masajid, the mosque, it funds the imams, it funds everything that comes out Islamic comes from the government. But in America, there is no, Joe Biden is not sending money to the masjid, right? Neither will Trump or whoever else wins coming up, right? We don't get money from the government for the masajid. It all comes from the people. The people have to be the ones who donate and fund. Because believe it or not, everybody else is trying to fund you away from Allah. Everyone else is trying to fund you and your children and your wife and your husband and your mother and your father away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're using metrics on Facebook and all of this and WhatsApp and other things. They're using television commercials, they're using billboards. They're trying every single way to get you away from Allah. And the masjid will connect us together. So instead of thinking it as a burden or it's boring or what are they doing in my life, think of it as opportunity. You never know, that $10 you gave for the masjid or for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that could have saved us from the hellfire. We never know what deed we'll do, in what place, right? And whether we're fasting or we're not fasting, if we're hungry and thirsty, then we think about those who are hungry and thirsty. But that doesn't mean that people who are hungry and thirsty, they're also fasting, right? People who are poor doesn't mean they don't fast. They fast too, right? And they're still hungry and they're still thirsty. But thinking about how can I help those, and even in your family, if you're not the one who's fasting, how can you help the people in your family while they are fasting? How can you help prepare the iftar or make this room smell nicer, whatever it may be, right? Number 7, it's not the devils, it's you, right? Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Muslim that when there comes the month of Ramadan, the gates of rahmah or of mercy, of grace are opened and the gates of hell are locked and the devils, the shayateen, they are chained up, right? So you have 30 days to reflect and analyze how much of what I've been doing wrong is all me. It's all Adeel, right? How much of it is from whispers of shaitan, the waswasa, and how much of it is just me, the evil that I'm doing, right? And how we're treating ourselves, how we're treating our close ones, how much resentment we have and we're keeping inside of us. The 8th way, no time. Have you ever reflected how much time you have and we waste eating, driving, scrolling through our phones, getting groceries, ordering, throwing the food away, driving home, preparing the meal, all these things. Think about how much time you have in Ramadan. Whenever it's Ramadan and I have to study, I know my peak time. It's suhoor until like 9:10, and the brain goes stops. It's really slow, and then after iftar, it starts to pick up again, right? Until a certain period, then I get sleepy again, right? So it's good to max time management in Ramadan. We learn that. It's a blessing from Allah. How many people pay courses for time management, all these things? So optimize the time that you have the most energy and use that for the important things. And for the less important things, you can just do that whatever time you want to do. Okay. Time, according to Time magazine, states that there are 90 days to kick a bad habit off the curb, right? So in Ramadan, if you have a bad habit, think of it as 1/3 of the way to drop the habit. Right? 1/3 of the way you've already done, now it's 2/3 are left to drop the bad habit. And you already have like an iman boost. I remember Imam Siraj Wahaj, he said, the day of Eid, you're super Muslims. Like, this day, you're the best Muslim you're going to be. Like, after this day, it's going to go downhill until next Eid, right? Next Ramadan Eid. So it was pretty funny, but very true, I think. 10th way, free self-discipline classes. People pay so much money for personal fitness consultants, financial consultants, life coaches, wellness programs. 30 days, you get from Allah to discipline yourself. In these 30 days, Allah makes what is halal, generally speaking, haram upon us, right? Drinking water is halal, right? But it is haram during the daytime for those who can fast. Eating fish, it's halal, but it is haram in the daytime, right? And so there's even things that are halal, Allah makes them forbidden in the daytime and gives you relaxation at night, but is training you, is training us. So that when we go back, so the best time for the Muslim to do a New Year's resolution is not January 1st, it's Eid, that after Eid, because Eid is a disaster. After Eid, then like you can eat chicken and broccoli, you'll still be happy. Because chicken and broccoli is better than nothing, right? So you're already used to eating nothing, so like chicken, any day of the week, give me chicken and broccoli. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, one of the great scholars of Islam, and he was in Baghdad, which is now Iraq. There was a time where people would conspire against him, and they would torture him. It's called the Mihna period. And it was like Muslims who would oppress Muslims, the Inquisition, because they didn't have the same belief system as the government religious system. So when Imam Ahmad was, and he got tortured, blood, whipping, even during Ramadan. During Ramadan, he's getting beat, and he's not breaking his fast. SubhanAllah. Anyway, so then when he passes away, when he's on his deathbed, like sick but not dead yet, right? And he's laying on his bed, he can't really move too much. Some of the people who were conspiring against him to have him tortured, his friends killed, and so forth, came to visit him when he was sick. And he smiled. And they said, "Are you sure you want him to come and visit you? He's one of those people who were trying to hurt you." And he says, "I've already forgiven them. You don't know. Maybe Allah built a bridge for me to Jannah because of my forgiveness of them." SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. Right? So Ramadan is a time for us to forgive people in the hopes that Allah will forgive us as well. Number 12, watch your mouth. As I mentioned before, if someone comes to you and starts to agitate you, you say, "I am fasting." The Prophet ﷺ mentioned, keep positive or remain silent. And that means not just the mouth. That means everything you're texting, everything you're emailing, you're Instagramming, whatever. Like, thinking about how do I speak positive or remain silent. This is a training for our tongues too. Our tongues are going to go out. In Surah Yasin, Allah says our hands will testify against us. So what you're texting right now, what you're messaging about people, the ghibah that we're doing, the gossip we're doing about people, the backbiting we're doing, man, may Allah forgive us, right? But it's very important for us to be mindful of that. Number 13, nafs. Again, this is the time for you to think about all the ways you can prevent ourselves from letting our desires take the best of us. Number 14, meal prep. Okay, now, I know people like certain foods in Ramadan, right? But certain foods in Ramadan also can not hurt your Ramadan, but they can hurt your results of Ramadan, right? So if you kind of are eating a lot of fried foods, a lot of sugary foods, then your activities at night go down a lot, right? Any day of the week. If you want to beat somebody in a war, you just feed them like some paratha and some lassi, and they're going to be gone for like years. You won the battle, right? So thinking about what am I eating, and one way to do this is to meal prep, take one day of the week and make the entire week's set of food and put it into the freezer and then cook it. Or 3 days earlier, then put it in the fridge and eat it that night. That way you can control what you're eating to an extent. Now, if you go to somebody's house for iftar, or you go to an event for iftar, is a different story. But control what you can control, right? Try to avoid high sodium foods like soups, sauces, condiments, gravy, high sodium breads, canned meats, and try to eat healthier foods. For suhoor, how many of you think it's hard to eat suhoor, or to drink suhoor, or to have suhoor? Is it hard or is it easy? Who said it's easy to have suhoor? Really? So you had no problem running around and going to the fridge and getting things? It's okay? MashaAllah, okay. Anybody else think it's easy or think it's hard? What do you guys think? Easy to get suhoor? Allahu Akbar, okay. Well, for the rest of us regular human beings and regular Muslims, it's hard. The super Muslim, mashallah, can do it. But one trick is you make suhoor the night before. And you put it next to your bed. Now, don't make something that's going to spoil overnight. Then you're going to get mad at me and tell me I got diarrhea during Ramadan and I can't fast. And something that is sustainable overnight, keep it near your bed in like a tea saucer, the cup that holds a tea, like something that big, and keep it next to your bed. If you can't get up, because some people, like in my own family, they can't get up I can't get up. Okay, Habibi, you can do this, right? And you can do this, and you can do this. That's all you have to do. Can you do that? Yeah, we can. So that's all you have to do. If you can do more, right, then again, eating healthy, egg whites, chicken breast, oatmeal, protein shakes, bananas, dates, obviously, all natural peanut butter, healthy things, right? Flaxseed oil, olive oil, a lot of water. Just have a lot of water and have a snack you can eat. Or you make it the night before for easy access in the morning for suhoor. Like overnight oats, right? Or you make your sandwich ready and you just kind of pop it in the whatever and then you eat the sandwich, drink the water, and that's it. But you want to have 2 liters of water a day without working out. Number 17, finding your Ramadan vibe. Now, how many of you like to be social during Ramadan? No one likes to be social during Ramadan? Okay. Is there a hand right there? Behind the pillar, maybe? 1 or 2? No, okay, all right. How many like to be by yourselves Ramadan? Don't want to talk to anybody. There's only 2 options, either by yourself or with people. So come on, someone has to answer something. Okay, what do you like to do?
What we have to do is just come to the masjid.
Okay, masjid, so people are there, right?
There's a lot of people.
So you like to be people. Okay, thank you. Anyone wants to be a people? There's only 2 options, people or by yourself. You have to answer one of the questions. Come on, y'all. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so some people are social, some people don't want to answer, and some people want to be with themselves, right, and Allah. So you want to find out what kind of person you are. Where do you get the most iman boost, right? My wife, she likes to be by herself in Ramadan. It's her and Allah. She goes into this mode, this is like this sheikha mode, right? And it's her and Allah, right? And me, I'm with all the people, right? I like being with people. I like to say, hey, where's the next thing at? Where's this thing? I'm going to masjid, I'm just going to, that's what I like. I have my own time to myself and Allah too, but I like to be more with people during Ramadan. Because for me, it's like, I live in a non-Muslim majority land. So if I can get the most Muslims I can at one time of the year, I want to maximize it, right? I want to make it feel like I'm living in a Muslim country. And that's the only time I can do that for a whole month, right? And some like combination, right? They like to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So whatever works for you, do it. But even if you're very social, you have to have time for just you and Allah. Have to have some time just for you and Allah. Number 18, dua prep. The Prophet ﷺ in this hadith in At-Tirmidhi, and it's a Sahih hadith, had said that there are 3 whose dua is not rejected. A just ruler, the fasting person when they break their fast, and the prayer of the oppressed person. It rises above the clouds and the gates of heaven are opened for it, and Allah will answer it, inshallah. Right? So, Allah says, by my glory I will answer you, even if it is after a while. So, one of these things is the breaking of the fast. So, when you break your fast, it's not inhale everything I can in 5 seconds. This is not a hot dog eating content on television where they're dipping the hot dog in the water. Eat a little bit, date, water, whatever, pray Maghrib, and then come back to your food. You can't be so sleepy, so full you forget to pray Maghrib or you're falling over in Maghrib. Like, eat a little bit and then, right, hasten to break your fast. But the point of this is to prepare your dua. Make a list of du'as that you want to read when you break your fast. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that when it comes, then you open up your notebook, whatever it may be, and you say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and not just about yourself, right? Not just about, I want this in this life, next life, but think about everyone that you want to make dua for. And then the hard one is make a dua list of those you are mad at. Those who have hurt you. You make a dua for them too. And you go through that list, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now if you're eating a lot of kibbeh and a lot of whatever else, at iftar, then you're not going to be able to finish your list, right? So a little bit of food and start doing dua, right? What's interesting here is the first person mentioned in the hadith was who? That I just read. Of the three, who was the first person? Does anyone remember? Yeah, mashallah, very good. A just ruler, right? And what was the last person? Oppressed person. Began with just ruler and with oppressed person. Because the unjust ruler is doing what? Oppressing the people. Subhanallah, right? And in the middle is dua, right? Dua that you make the rulers just, and that the unjust people, they also have the rahmah in their hearts to forgive so they can have less pain upon person who is unjust, right? 19th, we're almost done, 19th way. The rule of one. Okay. Anybody have their phones with them or a pad? Phone or a pad with you? Cell phone or pad with you? If you don't have it, you have to memorize it, okay? That's the homework. Memorize the homework, all right? Write down, can you take out your phones, please, if you have phones. If you don't have a phone, just memorize it or write down one bad deed that you continuously do. One itham, one guna, one sin that you're continuously doing, let's say daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and that's the sin you're going to work on stopping in Ramadan. Got it? Now, one good deed, one act of ajr that you're not doing, that you really want to start doing, write down, this is my goal in Ramadan. Is it clear? And then put this in that dua journal. Okay? So every night when you break your fast, the first thing you see is, what's my one good, my one bad? And then you say, am I doing it or am I not doing it? And you keep working on it, 30 days, right? Okay. The last one, the 20th way, the end game. When we start fasting, or we start Ramadan, 2 days. First 2 days are going to be hard. Or they're very easy, and the third day will hit you really hard, boom. Right? But that first week is a total shift. Then you hit 1 week. First 2 days hard, 1 week is done. 3 more days, where are you? 7 plus 3, where are you? Sorry? Yeah, so you're 10. The first 7 plus 10 is 3 is 10, right? So 1/3 Ramadan is done. So, because of the first week, 1 week is done. 1/4 of the way. 3 more days, you're 1/10. 4 more days, you're at 2 weeks. Done. Then 1 more day, 15 days, halfway through. 5 more days, last 10 nights. Okay. Last 10 nights, everything has to be supercharged mode. Right? When you go to, I went to my friend's house for iftar one day. He lives in Fullerton, and he said, I want you to do a little khatara, say a few words. I looked at all my friends who were there. They're all my age or 8 years older or maybe a little younger, and they all looked very tired. I said, y'all, how are y'all doing? They said, good. I said, you look tired. I said, yeah, right? It's like the end of Ramadan, you know? And I told them that's the point. You're supposed to be tired. Your sleep cycle is off. You're dehydrated. You're probably malnourished. Everything is not working. You're not thinking straight because you have the, the sugar is all off. Caffeine, those who drink caffeine, subhanAllah, they're really in trouble, right? Everyone's like, they're in real trouble, right? But the one thing that keeps them going is what? The ruh. The soul keeps the body moving. Logically speaking, it makes no sense. How do almost 2 billion people, let's say 1.5 of them fast, how are they able to do this for 30 days? It makes no logical sense. But it's because Allah is working on the soul the entire time. The soul is moving the entire body. There's no way to explain it. It's just the soul. The last way, that was the last way. I'm giving you a bonus way, 21st way. Take a convert with you. Adopt a convert or revert to Islam with you to iftar events. Invite them to your home. Take them to Eid with you. If you go to Eid prayer or go to somebody's house for Eid, do that. We did that with a convert in Dallas. And mashallah, he's married now to an Afghan woman. He's white. He was a white person. And he was just so happy. And it was like, in subhanAllah, Allah, like I said before, Allah, if you do good deeds, Allah puts like amazing, miracles in front of you. That Eid was like the greatest Eid of all time. It was such a cool Eid. Like we went to an Eid da'wat and somebody had a video game truck in the back of their house. And you go in there and you start playing video games. Like things you just never see ever again, any other Eid, happened that Eid. Because you make the niyyah to help somebody, right? So it's very important, to look out for people who are converting to Islam, who are, one thing I do, alhamdulillah, may Allah accept, just voluntary, is if there are some women who are converting to Islam and they're trying to get married, but they don't have a wali because for their wali or guardian has to be a Muslim person, but they don't have a wali because their family is not Muslim. So I help them, I check out the boys for them, make sure the boy is serious, he's just playing around with them, and so just try to find ways you can work with converts and help them out, inshallah. Okay, tayyib. Any questions or comments or anything that you felt was something new you hadn't learned yet, but it's important that you want to implement in your life this Ramadan? No questions, no comments? Yeah, super Muslims, ready to go. MashaAllah. Any questions or comments? Do you want to ask for it? Okay.
No, it was just mostly a comment where my father-in-law said that if you put your food next to your bed, you're not going to get up to read Fajr.
But I guess, I don't know what to say to that. If that's the case, then pray Fajr, yeah. Don't put the food next to your bed. See how it goes. Okay, so we're good? Yeah, dua off to the table. Okay, so let's finish with dua. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Ya Allah, we praise you, we thank you, and we ask for your forgiveness. Ya Allah, we ask you to make us of those who are able to fast well in Ramadan. We ask for those who are unable to fast to be complete participants and feel spiritually fulfilled in Ramadan. Ya Allah, we ask for those who have money and the means to be generous in their zakah and their charity and their sadaqah. Ya Allah, we ask for us to have the ability and the himmah to pray all our prayers on time and to offer additional prayers in the month of Ramadan, whether it's tahajjud, early morning, or qiyam, late at night, or tarawih at the masjid. We ask to help us to support our local and regional and national masajid in their efforts. Ya Allah, we ask to help those who are suffering right now in the US and around the world, and those who are suffering in Gaza and Palestine right now, and many other countries where Muslims are being oppressed, and help us make this Ramadan the best Ramadan that we've had in our lives, and to accept our fast and our siyam and our qiyam. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام والحمد لله.